Hello guys, welcome back to the Star Wars figure review. Next video we're going to take a big jump back in the line of action figures and back to the year of 2003. And as many Star Wars fans may know, in 2003 we received what was called Star Wars Clone Wars, which was a 2D micro-series that partly depicted the events of what went on between the episodes, Episode 2 Attack the Clones and Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. And of course we got the cartoon micro-series Star Wars Clone Wars, along with many other Clone Wars material as what was referred to as the Clone Wars Media Project. But the micro-series is probably the most standout part of it that most fans will remember in regards to it. And this figure in question is from that line. And the character question is Anakin Skywalker from said line. This is from his battle on Yavin IV with Asajj Ventress. There you go. Now, before we start properly looking at the figure in the details, we'll take a look at the packaging that this one comes in. This packaging might look a bit familiar to modern collectors now because this was recently reused for the Black Series, as we had 3 figures come as part of the line. Now, I did obtain one of those figures because that was the only one on the line I actually wanted to get out of the 3, but they are they're characters that are all available by on shelves. And this is just the original style packaging for this. The Anakin in question is not part of that line. The figures are in question are actually shown on the back of this. Well, the characters who have got these figures are on the back there. We've got the old As Seen on Cartoon Network logo there because that's what originally played the Clone Wars series before Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney. And then we do get the nice picture of a 2D Clone Wars animation. And I just love that artwork of Anakin on the side there with his lightsaber from when he's dueling on Yavin IV. We turn around to the back, we get a picture of Anakin in action from probably just from some concept art really there, rather than from the actual 2D micro series. But some of these uncoloured in pictures are more from the micro series as well, and you can even see one there in his duel with Asajj Ventress, as this series of course did sort of bring Asajj Ventress into the fandom. And then on the back there, further down as well, you do have the other figures in the wave, because the figures reissued were General Grievous, the ARC Trooper Captain, and Mace Windu. So they are available now. So I will give the review of the one that I do have out of this line, and that will come in due course as well. So yeah, but as I said, the series did introduce Asajj Ventress to the fandom, and is one of the she got brought over from the fandom to the canon with the Clone Wars when that came out in 2008. It's probably the only character that got brought out there. Of course, included with this, because this was back in 2003, 2004, and even 2005. A lot of this promotional garb came with the figure in the packaging there. I bought this at a toy fair at Gateshead Stadium a little while ago, so I've just been using it for there. But you do get like a little teaser of stuff that was coming out around 2005. 2005 was a good year for collection. I mean, that's when I started collecting myself. But you do get a sneak preview wave there, which was included there. So you got your General Grievous, Tion Maid on the Utapau, R4G9 Obi-Wan's droid, and a Wookiee warrior. The Starfighter, which I own, the Darth Vader voice changer, which was one of the first Star Wars bits I owned, and I actually still have it lying around somewhere. So yeah, but it's not on my it's not the one I have on my Darth Vader shelf, because I do have the Black Series one. But then on the back there you do have the old line Galactic Heroes, which was always a good line, and just other stuff related to it as well, and of course electronic lightsabers. So yeah, as I said there was the Clone Wars action figure line from there. We did also get a realistic line of characters from this wave as well, so that included many characters we saw originally in the line but with a more realistic feel to them, sort of as though they'd been released as part of the Black Series. So you had 2 options to get these if you wanted to, but this one was a unique to the line here. There was a realistic version of this that came in a battle pack in 2006. It was a Jedi vs Sith battle pack. You had Anakin and Asajj Ventress were included in there, as well as an Obi-Wan, a Grievous, and a Yoda, if I remember correctly. So yeah, but this is, as I said, we're now looking at the figure now. So this is based off the Genndy Tartakovsky directed 2D animation Clone Wars, and it really captures it there. I'd say this one was basically made more for playability purposes, as articulation is very lacking on this compared to a basic figure. You have the swivel head, swivel shoulders, and a swivel hips, and you do have a swivel forearm on the right arm, where Anakin has his prosthetic arm as his biological arm. His normal arm was of course sliced off by Count Dooku during the Battle of Geonosis. And he does have his lightsaber included there. You do have that nice little lightsaber clash effect right there, which looks awesome on the side there. You do also get Asajj Ventress' lightsaber included too, because if you have seen the micro series, you will know that Anakin gets in the duel with Ventress, and Ventress eventually knocks Anakin's lightsaber out of his hand, and then Anakin manages to sort of tap into the dark side, uses his power, he sort of breaks Ventress's wrist, and then manages to get the lightsaber that she drops, picks that up, and defeats her with it. So that's sort of included as an optional extra to have with the figure. I'm just going to take that off there now, and it just sort of is really well sculpted there. You only get the one of them though, so really if you had this in the Ventress, you'd effectively have 3 of these lightsabers, so that's a good addition. There's a few good poses you can get this figure in. I mean, I keep this one on my Clone Wars shelf with the other Clone Wars and both Legends and Canon I've got on there, but I've got figures from both. But the aesthetic there is just great. I mean, captures the cartoon look that this is meant to give, and it just goes well. He's not the only 2D animated Clone Wars figure I do have, because I do have the Mace Windu out of that line. I managed to obtain that one off eBay. If you look at the stand you get this, it's quite wide, big for a stand for a figure the size. If you see it compared to the size of the figure, that does take up a lot of room. So it's a good job this figure does stand up really well on its own, because with that stand in place, it just takes up far too much room on the shelves for it to hold in. I'll just take the lightsaber off for this one as well. So you get the nice little easy sculpt of Anakin's lightsaber, later Luke's lightsaber, and seeing as I view the 2D Microseries as part of Legends, this lightsaber would eventually be owned by Ben Skywalker and Mara Jade, as I said first, and then it would be retired shortly after a while after that. But if you're following the canon timeline, the lightsaber would eventually go into possession of Maz Kanata and eventually wind up in Finn's possession, on which it was passed to Rey and then taken back to Tatooine. As I said, this is from Legends timeline. I class the 2D Microseries as Legends. It's not canon. I think I need to just put that out there. This series is not canon. It's a good series, and some of it's like there's bits of it that are alluded to in the novel Brotherhood, but to me it's not canon. I know people want it to be canon, but I'm just like, no, because it's not. So I just thought I'd get that out there. But yeah, I mean, some of the sculpting there, you've got a bit of a, because of course that part of Anakin's chest is exposed, the muscular parts they've put in there from what's not hidden there. You can just tell he's been in a battle, and that's what matches there. This would go well with the Ventress. If I had the Ventress, I think these would go great together. And it was a good, as I said, it was a good wave here. Both the realistic and the cartoon version. I picked up, as I said, I got the Mace Windu from this cartoon line as well. But I did also manage to get the Dirge action figure from the realistic line, which is a fantastic figure as well. So yeah, there was a good variation of it back in 2003, 2004, 2005. You had a choice really in the lead up to Revenge of the Sith. But there were a few of these I've had my eye on, but I've not been dashing to try and pick them up. And everything else is there. You get the little bit of a anger face, battle expression face in Anakin here. And as I said, it's part of that beginning of him pushing towards the dark side at this point. Of course, he had kind of started it from Attack of the Clones when he started killing the Tusken Raiders. But it's when you watch this duel, like looking back at the duel when you watch it, you know that Anakin hasn't won the fight, and neither is Ventress hasn't won the fight, but Anakin hasn't either. It's Vader who's won the fight. So it's just sort of, that's what this figure does. And this, as I said, it works. It works for a Clone Wars display shelf. And that's kind of what I wanted to do, and it fits in nicely with the rest of my collection. So that is Anakin from the Yavin IV battle from the 2D Clone Wars Microseries pack. And I'd say, yeah, if you have a chance to go and watch the Microseries on Disney Plus, you can watch it there. I believe there's some full uploads on YouTube as well, so you can have a look at them if you want instead. If you haven't got Disney Plus, you might have a look there and watch them there. And it would be very much. I think the main criticism is the fact that there's no leg articulation. Like these are paused legs, so they're stuck like that. I'll just get the stand back out up so you can see it with that again. Get a full look of it. There. I'll even zoom in so you can get a better view. There you go. There's a zoom in of the figure there and a full look down, but it's zoomed in. So yeah, and of course with Star Wars, Clone Wars attached there, because of course the later series did have the Clone Wars in the title, so there is that little difference there that the two had. But this one, as I said, this one is a good one. It's worth having. I'll leave a link on eBay to this where you can get this on eBay, because you'll not find it in a brick and mortar store. I've even struggled finding these Star Wars Clone Wars figures, and even like the older stores that stock the older figures. I've been in there's two here in Newcastle. They have things like as I said, Power of the Force figures, Phantom Menace figures, but I've struggled to find these Clone Wars figures. Like as I said, the only places I've actually found physical ones of these have been at Toy Fairs, and they've been at Gateshead Stadium. So I mean, there is another vintage toy shop in Durham I hope to go to sometime, and I will go and have a look and see what I can pick up there. If I ever do get round to going down there, there should be stuff to get. But I hope you enjoyed looking at this Anakin figure. I do apologise for the sun there on the side. I just can't seem to get it right at the same time. But get a good view without the sun there. But yeah, that is 2D Clone Wars Anakin from the Yavin IV duel with Asajj Ventress. Definitely a good figure. Always good to have. But I'll do drop a like in this video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. And I'll